Hello and welcome to Edge of Play's Back to the Tactics board. In today's video I'm looking at the 2-1-2-1 formation in 7-a-side. I'll be looking at some of the key features of this formation and also some of the issues you may face when using it. So we're going to start off with the features of this formation. Well, the first thing I'd like to say is that you've got the four units of players. You've got your back two, your deep midfielder, your attacking midfielders and your striker as well. So in terms of the horizontal units, the lines of the team, those four lines give you good depth. You're covering a good area of the pitch. One of my favourite things in this formation is if you look in terms of the shapes that you can create. You've got the diamond shape there for build-up play. Your defensive midfielder working with the side defenders and the goalkeeper for your build-up. Obviously these players moving out and stuff to receive the ball in space. And you've got that same thing created up here as well. Your defensive midfielder, your attacking midfielders, left and right, and then your striker. You've got the ability there to offer good angles of support. And this is kind of the same as the ball goes to one side. You've got your triangle on one side and your triangles on the other. So you've got these kind of angles of support which should make build-up play easier to do and more difficult for the opponent to intercept. A key player in that, of course, is your number 4, because they're linking up here, and then when the ball's this side, they're doing the same on the other end of it. They're either the top of the diamond or the base of the diamond. So that player being comfortable on the ball, making good options, making good angles of support will be really important for this whole system. In terms of the number 4, what I like in this particular system is that because you've got the attacking midfielders, the 4's job is very much more about protecting the defence, being in this holding role, getting on the ball in a deep area and keeping it moving across the pitch and around the pitch. So if your 4 is happy, get on the ball in these deeper areas, but not necessarily bombing on and getting forward too much, they can have a really big influence on the team here. It can also be because you have 2 at the back and you have 2 attacking midfielders, it might be times when the 4 almost drops in between the defenders. If the defenders have to go out and deal with a winger, it could be that 4 drops in there and they shift across and they have like a 3 at the back. So 4's ability to recognise when that needs to happen will be very important. Of course, when that's happening, 5 and 6 will have jobs then in terms of defensively getting in to cover the space that's been left by your deep midfielder. Another real strength in this system is the positioning of your attacking midfielders. They're in this kind of half space between being a winger and being a number 10. Because you've got 2 of them, that can be quite difficult for an opponent to track. Who's going to mark them? Is it going to be one of their defenders? Is it their fullback that comes in? And if they do, they can leave a big space on the channels then for your striker to run into, or it can just be that the defender's been dragged into here, leaving the space behind them, so the ball can be played in there and then played into the channel and it becomes a foot race to get to the ball. Defenders don't like to be dragged out of space, especially against pace. We look at it in terms of 11-a-side and the zone 14 area. A lot of teams now try to manipulate the half spaces, the space either side of zone 14, where it's hard for defensive teams to pick you up and work out who marks who. These players therefore can be very hard for an opponent to track, to cover, to mark, to decide who is responsible for them. So 7 can get on the ball, your striker. Another bonus here is that they've got 2 players in advanced positions that they can lay the ball off to and link up with and work together with. Often, you can find in 7-a-side that your striker can become isolated if you don't get support to them. So if these attacking mids are picking up good positions, if maybe one's dropping in towards them and the other one's making clever runs in behind, this becomes very difficult then for an opponent to deal with it. Some of the issues you may face in this formation, well, it does lack natural width, certainly initially. So if these players are getting into these little half spaces here, you might not have the width, and it could be that an opponent puts players against that and basically closes down your space. So if I just put a pretty compact back 3, if they do this and they're saying, well, there's no width anyway, you're not opening up the gaps between their defenders enough to cause them a problem. Which when you have a winger, of course, if a player feels they have to go and mark them or get tight to them, you open up this big gap here, which can then be exploited with through balls or runs into it, either on the ball or for the ball to be played. So if 5 and 6 are going to be receiving the ball in here, it's going to need to stick because there might not be much space at first anyway. You would need your attacking midfielders to be giving you that width. It might be that they start wide and move into these areas, or they start quite central in these pockets here and then make big movements into the wings. If those movements aren't happening, you're making the whole pitch a lot smaller. You're taking the width away from the pitch, which means an opponent can defensively just get more compact and close off their space. So you need to be players to be challenging it all the time. 5 and 6 giving you width, or 7 making big runs into there to give you that something to aim for, to drag defenders around. Another issue could be in this formation, I alluded to this before, but another issue could be your central midfielder, your deep central midfielder, becoming isolated in a big area. If both your attacking mids have pushed on, maybe they've made big runs in behind, maybe they've got wide for that moment before moving in, your number 4 is now exposed in a very large area. So if a team are counter-attacking through there, might be struggling. If the number 4 has had to drop into the defence, like I mentioned before, then it's completely open in this midfield area. So you might shut down the first phase of an opponent's attack down here, but then the ball just has to come back in and across the other way, and you're in lots of trouble. You've got no one to cover that. So it's very important in this formation that at least one of your 2 attacking mids is getting in there quick, but ideally both working their way back, so you end up in more of a 3-2-1 eventually in these situations before 4 can hopefully drop back into here and regain that shape. So you're still in the 2-1-2-1 but in a deeper position. So you do need clear responsibilities for 5 and 6. You know, you're expecting both of them to go up and down the pitch the whole game. Do you say whichever side the opponent's attacking, that player has to get back in, the other one just looks to tuck in then to this kind of area here? If it goes that way, it's 6's job and 5 can tuck into this area here as the team move across the pitch like so. So you'd have to have very clear duties, I think, for your attacking mids to make this system work. If you can get that right and those players are prepared to work and make the right movements, then it can be great to have 2 technically skillful players in these areas. It can be very unpredictable, very difficult for an opponent to track and work out. If you haven't got natural wingers that don't want to just stay wide in your team, and you've got plenty of attacking midfield players, this system could really work for you. Your forward's going to be happy about getting those through balls to run onto in these little areas here. I say a lot of it will be about how 5 and 6 manage their use of space and their positioning, from giving you that width at the right moments, dragging the opponent out here and then moving in onto the ball and causing them problems. Thanks for watching this formation video. I do hope you found it useful. To learn about other formations for 5-a-side, 7-a-side, 9-a-side and 11-a-side, go to the tactics section at www.edgeofplay.com.